Hello, everybody. You're watching The Last Word, presented by The Vegas Voice. I'm Dan Roberts, the publisher of The Vegas Voice. I'm the publisher, that's correct, and I'm also joined by our political editor and my lady love, Rhonda Goodman. And our job is to present questions and hopefully get you answers regarding all the senior issues that are affecting our readership, our listeners, our readers. And what we are looking to do is to present the issues, the answers, the problems, as I said, that affect America's greatest generation, as well as the baby boomers.
And just a word about the Vegas Voice before we start. We are the most read senior publication in the Valley, from Boulder City to Aliente and beyond. And if you don't already get the Vegas Voice and you would like to, just give us a call, and we will make sure that you do receive it. Dan, why don't you tell them how they can reach us?
Again, they could always reach the Vegas Voice at 702-251-4441, or they can email me at dan@thevegasvoice.net. We have a very special guest today, and that is Dr. Tony Gumina, who is the Senate candidate for U.S. Senate. Doctor, thank you so much for being here.
Dan, Rhonda, thank you very much for having me on the show today.
I guess the question that is going to be discussed more than anything else is, you're not a Democrat, you're not a Republican, you're an independent. So I would say you have an uphill battle to win the race. But I guess the first question is, why are you even running?
Well, I think I kind of got a little late start in life myself, so not quite a senior yet, but I'm waiting for my senior discounts to start here shortly because I'm about there.
Yeah.
But I started a little later in life, and now I have two very young children. One is 5 and the other 6 years old. And I'm actually very concerned and worried about their future, as well as my future, getting older myself, and where the direction of our country is heading. So I decided that I'm not really happy with both political parties right now, where they're leading our country, and I don't believe that I can do any worse a job than they can do. And I think I'm a pretty smart cookie, and I think I could have a good chance of doing really a good job in helping our country move in a direction that I think is going to help my children, as well as help myself, and most importantly, the seniors in our community.
You know, I have to tell you, Doctor, I mean, I truly admire somebody who, on his own, is saying, I'm just going to run. Obviously, you're an educated person. I mean, you know the difficulties involved in either raising money or getting the word out there. And how do you overcome something like that?
Well, the nice thing is that me being a physician, I actually had a little bit of a background financially myself to start off giving myself a little bit of a kickstart to get the campaign going. The nice thing is I've got great patients and other people that I've met in the community, being in Las Vegas for almost 40 years, between my family moving here in the late 70s. I made a lot of contacts, and I've gotten a lot of good support from the community as well as from our patients. And so it's actually worked out a pretty good start for me being an unknown in this whole political field.
And I guess prior to it, you've had no experience in running for elected office. I mean, you're not a politician by any chance.
No, I'm not. I'm pretty much a virgin in this whole field here. And but it's actually turned out to be an amazing learning experience, because I myself have sort of avoided political things in general, because I just didn't really think I could do much to change that. But now I believe that independent people and just everybody in general, the people have the choice to actually make the best decisions. And if you don't have somebody who's willing to be on their side to help them move in the right direction, there's a lot of people who are out there making decisions for the wrong reasons. And I think that's made our country go in a wrong direction right now in a lot of areas.
Politically, the issues that you see that people should be aware of are what? I mean, you're running on different platforms and different issues. Pick one and let us know which one you think is the most important, if there is and most important.
Well, my biggest important thing is actually education. I actually really feel like we're lacking behind. There's lots of different country statistics as to where we are in the United States. We're actually ranked about 17th throughout the industrialized nations. But the problem is that being 17th in the entire world is terrible. And so I really think that we need to actually move towards actually improving our education system, mostly by actually going backwards and actually going back to believing in people. The last time Nevada was ranked really well in education was actually in the late 60s. And even here in the last 15 years, the best ranking we've gotten is actually just in the top 20s, because we're now moving towards spending all our money on educational supervision in the sense of administration instead of believing in teachers. So I'd like to make a push backwards to actually hire more teachers, smaller classroom sizes, have the teachers have a little bit more strictness on their guidelines for becoming teachers so we can actually have better teachers, but go backwards and actually believe in the teacher's ability to teach and to actually determine if the kids are actually learning. And I think moving money away from administration, because right now I think the administration is designed to actually blame the teachers for what's going on instead of actually letting the teachers teach and actually trusting that people are our greatest asset in America.
It's something that is on the forefront, education, because again, as you said, it's really becoming a major problem. What about issues affecting, let's say, our listeners, our readership, seniors? Again, that our paper is geared for people 50 and over. What do you have to say to them about either Social Security or Medicare or issues that are affecting them?
Well, to go back quickly on education, what I'm going to say to the seniors is understanding that the children of today are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. And if they're not educated well, the seniors in general are going to be in jeopardy. And so their livelihood is dependent on the children learning well today. And so that's one part. My biggest thing concerning seniors is the problem with Social Security. Because the one thing about Social Security is since it got entered into the general fund for the government, the problem is that the power of Social Security is compounding interest. And the only way to compound interest is to have it in a separate account away from the federal government. Because on the original way it was started, there should be tons of money in Social Security. Right. The average person right now gets about $1,048 per month on Social Security. And unless you have your own business and you're retired for other reasons, you can't live on that. I mean, the average medication bills for seniors is anywhere from $200 to $300 per month. And if you're only getting $1,048, you can't even afford to pay your apartment, much less buy food. And so your choices aren't going to be purchase your medicine. It's going to be live or take the pills.
Okay. I think your estimate is way low on what seniors pay on medication per month, because I know what my medical bills are a month. My copay is way low. It's outrageous.
Well, I think it's also going to depend on what medicines you're on and whether you're taking generics or not. But if you have a good doctor who works with you, you can get lesser expensive medications. But even those are still a big chunk of somebody's income if they're on a fixed income.
Oh, I know. My doctor, regularly when I go, he says, "You need refills?" I says, "Yeah." He says, "Let me see what samples I have so we can save you some money." Almost every time I go. Right.
And this time of year, we're starting to end up in the donut hole for a lot of seniors where, their copays and stuff have exhausted, and they're going to end up paying a huger part for the last 3-4 months of the year. And this is a big part where I try to save most of my samples for my seniors because of that.
Right.
But even despite that, I don't get samples enough for everybody.
Right.
And so some of them
then they have to decide, is it food, medicine, or rent? And that's tragic for seniors that are living on a limited income.
And the hardest part is going back to Social Security, is understanding that if the money was left alone for many, many years, the average senior should actually be getting about $3,000 a month. And we're not. So where is the money is the question. And I think our federal government has actually done seniors a disservice. And so the only way to help work on fixing that problem is it has to be separate from the general fund. It cannot be where a person getting welfare or a refugee who's going to be brought into our country is going to get more than our seniors would get. And that's a huge dilemma right now that I'm concerned with.
And people want more information about you. Again, we don't see you on TV every day with the commercials, either pro or con compared to your opponents. How do they get more information about you? How do they find out about, again, all your positions on the Senate race?
Well, right now they can go to my website. All they need to do is do TonyGumina.com. And there's a nice list of most of the top topics that I think people are interested in. But also on the website is an events area where they can look at, and almost every week we have something. They're more than welcome to come down. I usually provide food or some type of non-alcoholic beverage, and I'm sit there and answer questions for people, and I'm very open and accessible.
We spoke before we started on the air. We spoke a few minutes about guardianship, and Tony had something quite interesting to tell us on that. I'd like him to give us a couple of minutes on that about what you were talking about, Harry Reid and fiduciary responsibility.
What I've dealt with here is recently I've had a lot of patients and their families that have had a lot of frustration because their family members were veterans, and now that they're veterans and they've had other health issues to the point where they've been placed in like nursing homes, and it's a permanent placement. And a lot of them, the families initially didn't want to be involved in their financial things because of arguments, perhaps even with the person. But now that they've gotten to the point where maybe mentally they're not as stable, they've been assigned fiduciaries by the VA. And the fiduciaries and guardians have actually done a lot of disservice to the veterans, especially when the families try to get information about their financial areas and where their money's being spent and kind of what's happening in regards to their health care. And the fiduciaries and guardians are not as accessible and I think taking care of the patients as well as they need to be. And there's not a lot of regulation into following up what is required of them. And what happens to the funds if these people pass on is another question. And I think there's a lot of concern about how the lawyers and guardians are working together to sort of misuse the current situation, how it's set up. And I'd like to see a lot of new regulations as to how the families can have oversight or at least a little more transparency in fiduciaries and what happens to the funds.
Mm-hmm. We're working on that statewide, but once we get it fixed statewide, we're heading to Washington. So should you win, we'll be seeing you there.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'd be happy to help with that.
Last question, Dr. Tony. What do you want people to know about you when they enter that voting booth? And why should they pull that level for you?
Well, I think the most important thing that they need to know is that, first of all, I'm an American. I'm a veteran. Spent 9.5 years with the Marines as a Navy medic. I'm a vet business owner. I have a family here in Las Vegas. I've been here 38 years now. I'm a true Nevadan, true American, and I really believe that I have nothing but good interest in what to happen in America over the next 6 years if I win this election. And I want the best for the people because I have my own children that I'm very concerned with their future with. And so I have everybody's best interest at heart, I believe. And I'm not interested in the financial gains. I have my own rental properties and things. I actually think the senators are overpaid as well as the rest of the congressmen, and the money should be decreased, and they should receive the same health insurance that everybody else gets in America, because I'm actually a little bit more for socialized medicine, and Medicare's already set up to handle that.
Mm-hmm. We thank you so much for being here. We wish you the best of luck.
Dan, Rhonda, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate being on the show.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Thank you now.
Ichabod's is the place to play. Good food, that's what all the locals say. Good time. Ichabod's is the place to play. Come win, that's what all the locals say. You win. Ichabod's is the place to play. Come win, that's what all the locals say. Come win, come down and bring a friend. You win. Ichabod's is the place to win.
And we are back. You are watching The Last Word with Dan Roberts, yours truly, as publisher, and the political editor, Rhonda Goodman. And Rhonda, what I want to do in this last segment is discuss something that we have been working on for the last 2 years, which is really guardianship and an update on what's going on. So I'm going to let you take it away.
Okay. The Guardianship Commission is winding down. We've got 2 meetings left, both this month. And then what happens is all of the work we've done this past little more than a year is going to go into the form of recommendations which go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court then will go over all of the recommendations, boil it down to what they approve of, and then if I've gotten it right from Judge Hardesty's, Justice Hardesty's report at the last meeting, they will then take all of the recommendations. What they like will then go to the Legislative Council Bureau to be put in the form of bills for the starting of the legislative session in February. That's when you and I get busy, because then we have to get our volunteers moving to start lobbying and getting ready to speak at the legislative session and get those bills passed that we want passed, or sections of the bills and all of this thing. The most important thing being, of course, language, because as you know, one word in a bill can change the meaning of the whole thing. One of the most exciting things for me, and I'm sure it was for you too, was the nomination form that was part of Senate Bill 262 that we got passed last year, thanks to all of our readers signing all of those petitions. That is already in the works for a bill. Senator Becky Harris has already got that in the Legislative Council Bureau being put into a bill. And it made me feel wonderful a few weeks ago when the Legislative Council Bureau called us and asked if we would send the form to them, our form, and they're using that as part of the bill. And what they're going to do with that is have our nominated guardianship form be part of a bill that, if passed, and we're hoping it will be, it will make the nominated guardian form part of the Secretary of State's lockbox system.
But in effect, though, our guardianship preference form that we wrote together to address the problem will, quote unquote, be the official form for the state of Nevada.
Absolutely. They may tweak it a little bit, but they liked it so much, and Justice Hardesty approved of it, and the commission voted on it. They all, a couple have said no, but 90% of them approved of it. So that guardianship form, with minor tweaks, will be the official form that goes into the lockbox if the legislature approves it, and I have no doubt that they will. And then it goes to the Secretary of State's lockbox, just like living wills do now.
Right.
So what that basically means is that if somebody uses the nominated guardianship form, fills it out, it will be sent to the Secretary of State. Then, should somebody end up in guardianship, the minute somebody asks for guardianship of that person, the first thing that happens is the court contacts the Secretary of State and asks if a person has been nominated as their guardian.
And those proposals were really something that we suggested, or you suggested. So we're going to have the official guardian, in theory, the official guardianship form. Mm-hmm. In effect, we now have a temporary lockbox,
right?
And then after the Secretary of State will have their official lockbox,
right,
that we proposed and everything. Mm-hmm. And how much money did we get out of that?
Absolutely nothing. We're very good at not making money.
I mean, this was really done as a service to our readers and really to the senior community of the state of Nevada.
Right.
But, all this work coming up, plus the fact that we still have different guardianship seminars coming up.
Yes, we've got several guardianship seminars coming up. One in Summerlin on the 28th, the 28th of this month, sponsored by Assemblywoman Victoria Seaman. We have another one.
We have one coming up
Community
this week.
Lutheran Church.
Yep.
That's on what date? You're good with
that's
dates.
sometimes next week. But the thing that I guess we want to get across to everyone watching this is that we have been fighting and dealing with guardianship issues now for 2 years. And we have done seminars across the state. We're going to be in, as you mentioned, in Sun City, Summerlin at the end of the month. And we're going to be in Solera sometime in November. And we've been keeping busy on it. This guardianship issue really is still out there. This hasn't gone away.
No, absolutely not. People think because we've been doing it for such a long time, it's solved and it's gone away. It hasn't. People are still being put into guardianship. It's just laying low between the covers, so to speak. But it's still an issue. We are still happy to give any information on it. We will go anywhere, anytime we are asked to do a seminar. We do not charge. As I said, we're very good at not making money.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that you have very quickly is that you have been rewarded, and you have been awarded the Senior Citizen of the Year 2016.
Yes, I was. It was a lovely surprise. And
And you also received the Woman of the Year award from the Miss Senior Nevada people.
yes, I was.
So you have all these awards, but you can't turn it in for money, though, can you?
No,
No, still no money involved.
still no money.
But it is nice to be recognized.
I'm retired.
You are retired.
Yes,
yeah.
I am retired.
But
All I do is cook. And
Well, obviously you don't. Not that
Your
much.
waistline
We go
proves
out.
that.
Yeah, but again, this is something that you've done because you feel very strongly about it.
yes, yes.
I mean, as much as
It
we
has
kid each
become
other.
an obsession.
Yeah, and we're not going to stop until we have that total guardianship reform.
Absolutely.
And we're going to be here next month.
Every senior, all jokes aside, deserves to be treated with respect, deserves to be treated like anyone would treat their mom or want their mom to be treated.
Without
and
a doubt.
Dad.
Yep. And
Yeah.
we'll be back next month, and we're going to continue to fight for guardianship reform.
Absolutely.
So we want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching The Last Word. Obviously, if you would like more information about guardianship, the Vegas Voice, please don't hesitate. Give me a call, 702-251-4441, or you can email me at dan@thevegasvoice.net. You can also email Rana at rana@thevegasvoice.net. Final thoughts, dear, because you have the last word.
I have the last word, right. Make sure when you log on to our website, you use the word The Vegas Voice, because lots of people don't. And then they call and say, how come I can't get to your website? TheVegasVoice.net. See you all next time.